Have you ever noticed how sometimes, even after eating what everyone calls healthy, you still feel heavy? The body slows down, the mind fogs, and even rest doesn't bring relief. It's a quiet discomfort many live with after 60. That strange sense that food no longer gives energy but takes it away. Meals that once filled the room with warmth now seem to leave a kind of silence inside. Yet, behind that silence, the body is speaking. It's asking for something different, not more food but wiser food. Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara, who lived to be over 100, used to say that the key to a long life wasn't in fullness, but in lightness. He often skipped rigid meal times, listening instead to what his body whispered. Lightness to him was not hunger, it was freedom. Freedom from the need to overfill what the body no longer burns as quickly. He believed that energy doesn't come from how much we eat, but from how clearly the body can use what we give it. There's a quiet wisdom in that, because after 60, the body changes its language. It becomes more selective, more sensitive. It forgives less, but it still responds beautifully when treated with care. Dr. Mark Hyman, one of today's leading voices in functional medicine, describes it in another way. Every bite is a molecular message. Each spoonful you take, every piece of bread or fruit tells your body what to build and what to break down. It's not just nutrition, it's communication. After 60, those messages become crucial. The body listens more closely, and the wrong signals, too much sugar, too many processed oils, too little real food, can cloud the mind, weaken the joints, and silence the spark that once made you rise from bed with ease. But here's something to hold on to. Feeling younger isn't a fantasy. It's a biological response your meals can create. Food is not only fuel, it's instruction. It tells your cells whether to repair or decay, to calm inflammation or feed it, to wake up or grow tired. And that means your plate can still be your greatest ally, not to fight time but to age wisely, to age with vitality and to age with joy. That's what we'll explore together in this journey. We'll look at the foods that truly support an older body. Not trends or expensive powders, but the kind of foods that carry both science and soul, the forgotten bitters that awaken digestion, the humble egg that protects memory, the roots that steady your energy, the ferments that keep your gut alive and your immunity strong. Simple foods, accessible to anyone, that speak the ancient language of longevity. Because it's not about turning back time. It's about remembering that the body you live in today, with its scars, its limits, its quiet mornings, still wants to live fully. It still wants to walk, to taste, to remember, to love. Your food can help it do that. So, as we begin, let this thought guide you. The way you eat is not just about adding years to your life, it's about adding life to your years. Now let's start with one of the most overlooked secrets of vitality, the foods that wake the body from within, the bitter ones. There was a time when meals carried a taste that is now almost forgotten. A quiet bitterness that once announced to the body, it's time to awaken. In many homes today, that flavor has disappeared. Plates are softer, sweeter, easier. Perhaps it's because chewing has become harder, or because no one wants to taste what feels unpleasant. But in that disappearance, something essential was lost. Bitterness was never meant to be a punishment, it was a signal. The signal that tells the body to begin its work. As we age, our digestive fire slows down. We feel it after lunch, the heaviness that sits in the stomach, the sleepiness that comes too soon, the lack of true hunger at dinner. It's not just age, it's that the body no longer receives the call to awaken before the meal begins. Bitter foods once played that role. They nudged the stomach, the liver, even the mind, and saying, prepare, something good is coming. Without that, digestion becomes like a musician starting without tuning his instrument first. The notes come out, but they don't sing. Modern science now confirms what our elders already knew. When the tongue meets something bitter, whether a piece of arugula, a sip of lemon water, or the sharp scent of ginger, it sends a message through the vagus nerve, the long thread that connects the gut to the brain. That simple act sparks a cascade. Digestive juices awaken, enzymes prepare, and even mood begins to lift. It's extraordinary that a taste can stir both the stomach and the spirit. The ancients didn't have words like vagus nerve or neurotransmitters. They just knew they felt clearer, lighter, calmer when a touch of bitterness started their meal. Across the Mediterranean, people still begin lunch with a small plate of greens. Dandelion, chicory, arugula. In India, A piece of turmeric root or citrus peel often comes before the main dish. These are not decorations, they are messages. They remind the body that nourishment is coming and that it must be ready to receive it. Even in Okinawa, one of the world's oldest living communities, bitter melon appears often, wrinkled, earthy, slightly harsh, and yet behind that sharpness lies vitality. There is wisdom in every culture that keeps bitterness alive. Perhaps it's time we remember it too. Imagine starting your midday meal not with bread or soup, but with a few leaves of something bitter, maybe rocket, endive, or the peel of a lemon in warm water. These small acts restore the rhythm of digestion, ease bloating, and bring a surprising sense of mental clarity. You may find that the mind feels sharper after lunch, that fatigue does not settle as quickly. Bitterness has this quiet power. It clears the fog. In truth, bitterness sharpens more than taste. It awakens your entire system. It reminds the body of its forgotten strength, the same strength it once used to climb stairs or rise from bed with ease. It's not about forcing change or following a diet. It's about remembering the signals that once kept your inner fire alive, because the body, even after 60, is listening. It's waiting for a message it can understand. Sometimes, that message comes in the most unexpected form, the faint, earthy whisper of something bitter on the tongue. Before we move on, keep that thought close. The foods that awaken you are not always the sweetest. Sometimes they are the ones that remind your body that it still knows how to begin again. For years, many have looked at the humble egg with suspicion. Doctors once warned of cholesterol. Magazines called it dangerous. And so, little by little, a food that nourished generations was replaced by fear. Yet in the quiet kitchens of those who lived long and well, the egg never disappeared. It stayed, like an old friend, simple, modest, full of life. And now, after so many years, science has come to say what tradition always knew. This small, fragile shell carries within it one of the most powerful nutrients for the aging mind, choline. Choline is what the brain uses to create acetylcholine, the messenger that keeps memory alive, thoughts connected and focus sharp. When that messenger weakens, words slip away, names fade, and ideas that once came easily begin to stumble. It's not forgetfulness born from age alone, it's the quiet starvation of the brain. Harvard researchers have shown that adequate choline intake helps maintain the very circuits that carry our memories, those invisible threads that make us who we are. It's a quiet, steady kind of help, not dramatic, not immediate, but deeply sustaining. There is a beautiful truth in how simple foods protect us. In Japan, elders still begin the morning with soft-boiled eggs or a slice of fish rich in choline and omega-3. In Sardinia, one of the blue zones, farmers eat eggs from hens that roam freely, their yolks glowing with color from natural grass and seeds. In both places, you'll notice something else too. These people do not live in fear of food. They eat with calm, gratitude, and moderation. They know that balance is the oldest medicine there is. Modern nutrition often forgets this softness. It replaces nourishment with numbers and culture with caution. But the elders of the world's healthiest communities never feared their food. They honored it. They cooked with purpose, using ingredients that supported life rather than restricting it. One egg, cooked in olive oil beside dark greens, is not a trend. It's a ritual of self-respect. The combination of choline from the egg and magnesium from the greens creates a harmony, a meal that feeds both mind and muscle. It's the kind of food that doesn't just fill the stomach, but restores connection, reminding the brain that it still has light to give. When you think of the mind, think of a lamp that once shone brightly in your youth. Over time, the current weakens, not because the bulb is broken, but because the wires fray. Choline, found so abundantly in eggs, fish roe, and organ meats, helps to mend those wires, slowly, quietly, faithfully. It brings back the brightness that age tries to dim. You may not notice it overnight, but clarity has a way of returning like dawn, softly at first, then all at once. It's remarkable how often the simplest foods are the ones we've been taught to fear, yet they are the very foods that carried our grandparents through long days and longer lives. There is strength in this rediscovery. There is dignity in reclaiming what was once natural, to eat with trust, with moderation, with memory, because food, after all, is not only what sustains the body. It is what connects the past to the present, what keeps our minds awake to the stories still waiting to be lived. So, when we think of the brain, let us remember, It is like a light bulb, and choline is one of its wires. To nourish it is not vanity, but reverence. For every thought, every memory, every name we wish to keep close depends on that delicate connection, and it's never too late to strengthen it, one mindful meal at a time. If you believe food can still renew strength and clarity at any age, subscribe and stay close. Each week we share habits that keep your body alive and your spirit light. There was a time when every home had a basket of roots in the corner of the kitchen. Sweet potatoes, yams, taro, humble, earthy foods that carried the scent of soil and warmth. They were not just sustenance, but symbols of patience. They took time to grow, time to cook, and time to savor. Today, those roots have been replaced by boxes and bags that promise low-carb, quick energy, and light meals. Yet somehow the body feels heavier, the hands colder, and the afternoons longer. Something precious has been lost in the trade between convenience and true nourishment. The aging body has its own rhythm. It doesn't burn as fast, but it still hungers for balance, steady, grounded energy that lasts beyond the next cup of coffee. That balance once came from the slow sugars found in root vegetables. These foods do not rush the bloodstream, they whisper to it. They feed not only the body, but also the community of tiny beings in the gut that guard immunity and emotion alike. Modern science calls them resistant starches, fibers that travel deep into the intestines to feed the beneficial bacteria that shape digestion, mood, and blood sugar stability. Yet long before these words existed, people already understood their effect. A bowl of sweet potato kept a farmer strong through the morning. A piece of yam warmed an old woman's hands in the winter. These are not just calories, they are the language of stability. In Okinawa, where the elders live long, graceful lives, purple sweet potatoes appear on the table almost daily. Their meals are simple, steamed tubers, greens, a little tofu or fish, and yet they carry more vitality than many of our modern feasts. They do not count carbohydrates, they trust tradition. To them, these roots are symbols of endurance. They dig deep into the earth and store the sun's patience inside them. When eaten, they release that patience back into the body, slowly, steadily, like a steady flame that never flickers out. For many older adults, cutting natural starches has become a habit born of fear. Fear of weight gain, fear of sugar, fear of aging itself. But the truth is more compassionate. The body after 60 does not need restriction, it needs rhythm. Roots provide that rhythm. They anchor energy in the center, keeping the extremities warm, the digestion regular, and the mind calm. When the body feels cold and the mood drifts downward, sometimes what's missing isn't youth, but nourishment that grounds. Small portion of roasted or steamed root vegetables, golden, fragrant, drizzled with olive oil and a touch of sea salt, can feel like sunlight returning to the bloodstream. There's a hidden wisdom in the way these foods mirror life itself. They grow in darkness under the soil unseen. Their strength comes from patience, from stillness, from the quiet work of time. Perhaps that's why they resonate so deeply with aging bodies. They too have learned to find strength beneath the surface. To eat them is to take in that same grounded energy, to remind the body that not all nourishment comes from speed or sparkle. Some of it comes from slowness, from roots that remember. These roots do not just feed you, they ground you. They remind you that vitality does not come from denying the body, but from honoring its needs, that the energy you long for isn't gone, it's simply waiting for steadier fuel. Like the earth itself, your body holds immense capacity for renewal when treated with gentleness. And perhaps that's the quiet miracle hidden in every root, the promise that even after many seasons, life continues to grow from deep within. In many old kitchens, a jar of fermenting vegetables once sat quietly on a shelf. Cabbage, turmeric, or cucumber slowly transformed under time and patience. That tangy scent marked more than a recipe, it was a daily act of care. Today, those jars have vanished, and with them part of our inner vitality. As the years pass, the gut becomes less diverse, its friendly bacteria weakened by processed foods, sugar, and medication. Yet inside those living ferments, sauerkraut, kimchi, pickled turmeric, exists the very life our digestion and immunity depend on. They bring back beneficial microbes that train the immune system, improve nutrient absorption, and ease inflammation that often hides behind fatigue. In many cultures, a small portion of ferment accompanies every meal. It cleanses the palate, steadies digestion, and helps the body remember how to balance itself. This is not a trend. It is a tradition rooted in respect for nature's slow intelligence. Fermented foods are like old friends. They remind the body what to keep and what to release. In their quiet way, they teach that aging, like fermentation, is not decay but transformation, proof that life continues to renew itself, even in stillness. Modern health advice often arrives like noise, strict, hurried, full of contradictions. Yet the real art of longevity has always been quiet. Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara, who lived past a century, believed in meals that were light, not only in quantity, but in spirit. He ate with calm intention, listening to his body as one might listen to a friend. It was not about discipline, it was about clarity. He trusted that the body, when treated gently, always knows what to do. The same truth appears across the world's blue zones. As described by Dan Bietner, people live long not because of one food, but because their eating is a ritual, shared, grateful, unhurried. Their plates are filled not just with nutrients, but with belonging. When food carries meaning, it nourishes more than flesh. A bitter leaf before a meal, an egg bright with morning light, a root roasted in olive oil, a spoonful of something fermented. These are not simply foods, but signals. Each tells the body that life continues to flow, that change is still possible. The elders who honor such habits do not eat to resist age, they eat to stay in dialogue with it. Every flavor, every texture, is a reminder that the body is still capable of adapting, of renewing itself through small, steady gestures. If these reflections warm something within you, stay close. Subscribe and walk with us as we uncover more ways to age with clarity, strength, and calm vitality. This kind of nourishment does not depend on trends or expensive ingredients. It depends on attention, on the act of sitting down, of breathing before eating, of feeling gratitude for what is present. Over time, these quiet rituals shape not only health but outlook. They teach the heart to age with peace, not fear. Because the truth is simple, what we eat teaches the body how to live. When meals are made with clarity, gratitude, and balance, they whisper a message deeper than any medicine. You are still alive, still capable, still becoming.